after supposed, at least, oh, here we are on Saturday, August the 9th. I just had Winnie the Wonder Dog with us. And the day after supposed Lionsgate 8/8, and apparently the stars aren't actually aligned with Sirius, or the sun isn't lined up with Sirius at that time. Apparently it's supposed to be July 6th in actuality, but whatever, 8/8 numerologically itself is very significant. And then Chinese culture, it's like the 8 and the 8 is an infinity symbol paired with another infinity symbol. So that makes it significant, in at least our culture there. We're going to have Christy, who isn't here with us available for much longer than, say, half an hour, would like to have Rentoris come through to share some messages. So please, Christy, I turn it over to you.
Thank you, Brian, for that introduction. Yes, Rentoris would like to come through. I will just go into the channel state, and Rentoris will come forward. Greetings. I am Rentoris and Alontrios. Again, it's wonderful to connect with you all in this way. I have been here observing your conversation, quite interesting. How you exchange and interact. But I enjoyed the conversation. It is interesting to get a human perspective as to where you feel you are going. And I say you because I take it back to you on an individual basis. This is something that we have discussed in the past. Yes, it's nice to be here with you. So again, listening to your perspective, it is quite interesting, really viewing from where we stand, and we see really what you want to bring forward, not just for you, but for the collective on your earth. There is many at this time seeking you out, but have no insight or understanding as to where to find you. So I admire you all, including Chris, that yous have been selected, of course, to come forward and present what you feel is necessary for your planet at this time. I quite enjoyed each of your sharing because, again, it gives one the opportunity to explain really what they see and what they feel is necessary, not just for the individual, but for a larger group of what you would call family, because we are all family, including us. We may not be on your planet at this time in the physical, but we assure you we are all family, and it is important that we are seen this way. There is many, of course, out here that would not agree, but we won't go there at this time. It is not necessary. It is important for you and for the collective to be aware that it is an interesting time for many of you. We say many of you for many reasons. There is many on your planet that is not aware of what you call this transition, this word ascension, which is quite popular on your planet at this time. Many of you use this term because you know and understand there is a shift in consciousness, there is a shift in vibration. And it continues to play out again on an individual basis. How one wants to see this and play in this reality is entirely up to them, and they will not be judged, of course. We want to make that clear. You came back to Earth for a specific reason. Most of you here are aware of those reasons. You are beginning to understand the importance of those reasons, and we admire you for that. We bow to you for coming forward and presenting what you feel is necessary to make that shift. And to make that shift on an individual basis as well is we can see a struggle at times. We know that it is seen as the place to be, which is your planet, because the focus is there at this time. You have many watching what is happening, and we mean watching off the planet as to what plays out. So it is important that you take this quiet time and you reflect really what your mission is. And we're sure you all have what you would call a plan. Some may laugh at the plan, but we assure you that it is important to you that you bring this forward for yourself and for loved ones and people around you, to share what you see, not just in wealth, but in vibration. You know, as we say, we are all one family. This was not my message coming forward this evening, but it was interesting as I sat back and observed through Chris, conversation among yourselves. I see your perspective, but also you need to understand that each one of you sees a different picture. You do understand this. And sometimes that picture does not reflect to many of you the importance of the projects that you speak about that need to be brought forward. There is different ideas, there's different views, and there's different responses, which was interesting to hear from this group before I came forward. Mm, mm. But I am happy, of course, for you in many ways. You and many of you on the planet that are looking for this, we would call this place that you all hold within is sometimes difficult to observe, and we understand that. There is many distractions on your planet that continue to play out. But many of you can see beyond these distractions. You do understand that this is just another piece of the puzzle. It's there to distract many of you, and some of you catch on quite early, and some prefer to wait that bit longer to see a bigger picture, a bigger understanding, and that is okay as well. But again, we will take it back to frequency and vibration. These areas are of great understanding to you all on an individual basis, including Chris. He understands as he has shared. I have relayed this information to him in our communications. He does understand the importance of what you call wakening up. Mm. So it's back to basics for many of you. they are beginning to understand the importance, the significance of this shift in frequency, not just on your planet, but across the cosmos. It's important to us all. As he has said, which was correct, we will all shift together. We will all move together. Hopefully, through the eyes of God, of course. Mm, mm, mm. So that is my message to you, dear ones. I am aware that this conduit needs to step back. So again, I will step back myself, but I want to thank you all on an individual basis for the work you are doing. It does not go unnoticed, dear ones. Be aware of that. Until we connect again, I am Renturus of Elantrios. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you for coming through, Rentoris of Elantris, and Christy for hosting him to convey his message. One of the things I really took from that is here on Earth with humanity, we talk about the ascension of humanity together with Mother Earth, who herself is a living being, but also as we ascend down here, that also is going to have ripple effects out there. And so it's not just about Earth and humanity in the long run, even though, we're kind of like the needle on the top of the haystack or the camel's back.
Yes, Brian. Wonderfully said. Thank you.
Dennis, I know that Soma mentioned that did you have anyone that wanted to come through and convey any messages? Or I wasn't sure. Oh, you're muted, brother.
Thank you. Yes, I have a message from the soul collective of my I am. And like Christy, this has been an enlightening and uplifting conversation. All here in this call, including those who dare to find and listen to this, all of you have found treasure within. There you find peace, you find light, you find hope, you find love. But around you in your world, you see strife and conflict and struggle. And many have an experience of soldiering, of being warriors against counter intention and conditions that are not as they should be. And you, in your presence and in your actions and in your ways, you are pushing and creating some change. But you are in planet Earth at this time, and there is struggle, and it is not easy. And there is much you see that is disheartening. But this is a time of changing of gears. And the change that you can expect and the change that you can hope for is not just within. And we like Christy, like uh, uh, his guide, we so highlight, we so value your within journey, your awakening within. But in this time, there is a change, and the change is going to manifest itself not just within, but without, around you, with your families and in your environment and your communities. And it is very uplifting to hear Brian has, as he comes near celebrating his 50th anniversary in this body and this planet, that he is expanding into opportunity and positivity and abundance. And he has a plan and a pathway to be able to share this with others. And we commend Brian and we agree with him. We see him being successful in this venture and this direction, even though, of course, there will be challenges. So here is something. It's Dennis has a friend. His name is Lou Martin. He's a spiritual guide, and a question his guides put to him is, how good are you? How good can you allow it to be? How good can you allow it to be? So the change is not just within. The change shall be manifested outside of you. And as you grow in your own divine connection and love, there will be more space created around you and outside of you. There will be more light about you. There will be more positivity. And this change and transformation shall happen about you. And so allow yourself the knowledge that things can be easier. We understand that all of you are so engaged in life and living. You are engaged in the past, and in the past for your lifetimes that has been a struggle and a battle, to understand that it can be different and it will be different. And so allow yourself the surprise of experiencing ease, of experiencing abundance, of experiencing joy, and being able to learn from these avenues, not just from mistakes and pain. One can ascend from joy. And this is where we want to take the community of men and women. So we find that interesting, a little flag that Brian has waved of where he is walking a path that we are all invited to connect with directly or indirectly, to that there will be better, and to walk into the better, and to walk into that better, to change gears and be able to experience joy, hope, satisfaction, fulfillment. So there you are. It's not all pain and suffering.
Thank you for sharing that message through you, Dennis. And it sounds like, it almost feels like when your higher self was speaking about the past lives and all the struggle, and even the struggle we have today, it feels like all the way up until this point in all his past lives, it's been like struggle, 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 and then into this life, struggle, 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 and then now it's at that turning point of like, it's going to be abundance, 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 and then even getting better from here on out. and manifesting that and allowing it to happen as we spiritually grow and evolve, and the abundance and comes down from the heavens as above, so below. And then as within, and we manifest that within ourselves, we start to manifest it more outwardly and around us. And Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he summed it up by saying, the closer you are to the truth, and the more you're living the truth, the wealthier you are, the happier you are. Not just material wealth like money, but like you're going to be healthier. You're going to be in the right place in your life, doing the right thing because you're vibrating in that happiness and truth, or that
Yes.
truth will bring it. Yeah.
To put it into a paradigm of church or religion in the Christian Catholic teaching, there is so much value put on the crucifixion, as this is a transformative and God experience and puts us close to God. And I'm not arguing with it, but that's not the end of the story. And afterwards, there is the resurrection experience, and then, of course, the Christ one no longer is the effect of some of the trials and some of the woes and uncertainty that were there up to that point. And so that is also part of our journey, that we can move beyond being nailed to a damn cross, and have that as our experience of closeness to the divine. We can move beyond it to something which is healed, which has wisdom, and which is free of what has been a reality, so much part of the reality till now.
Yeah. When we're healed and whole, we can live our best lives and not dwell on the concept of like mortal sin, or original sin rather, and fetishizing the crucifixion of Christ as a death cult type thing, but rather
Yes,
the
brother.
Christ consciousness and the amazing example that only he set.
Yes.
Excellent. And then I know that we've had both Rentoris come through, and Dennis has shared wisdom from his higher self. Did any of our Pleiadian friends want to come through, or have any messages, or did they want to come through perhaps next week? Is Soma there with you, Dennis?
As Yeah, as a group, I just have an awareness of there being joy
Mhm.
with that galactic community and other galactic communities, that we are moving past where we have been. And here it is very it is very understandable that we get caught up in views of our limitations. And our galactic brothers and sisters who have traveled a bit more in experiences of lifetimes, they have learned some lessons that are ahead of us, and so they're glad to see us making that step. And it has already come up in the call. I think it was Rentoris who brought it up, or CHRISTY, that we are family. And in our gain, the Arcturians, the Andromedans, the Pleiadians, their joy isn't just for our gain, but our gain is their gain. So there is a very significant expansion that is taking place, and
Like up there in the stars, Dennis?
oh, absolutely, absolutely. For a couple of reasons. One is that the fact that we can progress, it releases boundaries on their progression because we are one.
We're like a limiting factor with it, the slow soldier.
This is it. This has been a bit of a slow, and so and there have been forces that have I think made our condition here, our lesson, the divine lesson, the plan, that they have impeded it, they have slowed it. So this is overdue, and that this expansion, this step forward in consciousness and ascension that is happening here and is going to bring greater health and well-being, not just to the population, but to all life, to all beingness, to Gaia and the earth herself, now allows for other nations, galactic and other universes to expand where they should. And then another element is that, interestingly and truly, here in this Earth project that we have at the moment, it is a very special project to source, because while all these other galactic civilizations have progressed and they have gone through their trials and they have learned the lessons, and to a large degree, we know there are some conflicts out there, but we have star nations that have certainly progressed. But what is happening here is very unique. So we are making a bound forward in a way that they have not done, because ascension before has very much been involved of leaving the body behind, and then the spirit leaves the body, and then it leaves that physical form and it expands in consciousness there, and then it comes back into another body. What's happening here is a transformation where the physical body is very much coming along with us. We are upgrading matter. We're not just upgrading souls, we're upgrading matter. So this is something which is transforming for universes. And that's why it's, it's so significant that our DNA has been seeded by so many star nations from different dimensions. So there is something happening here where the humans, us humans, our brothers and sisters, we have a potential within our bodies to be able to, and with our bodies, to be able to achieve so much, to communicate, to have knowledge, to have understandings, to have experience, to exercise power with and in the bodies, as opposed to just the spirit vessel. And so afterwards, this changes life. It changes the God game. It expands it.
Yeah, because by seeing abundance here at the lowest level of the third density consciousness and having us humanity elevate while we're still alive in these vessels and shift that material being, so like we're healing ourselves, we're becoming more psychic, uh, you know, all whatever gifts are coming online.
Yes,
You
but
know,
it's
that's
also in some way bringing source and divinity into matter, bringing holiness to it,
mm,
elevating it, in bringing more consciousness into uh, physicality, into matter, into physicality. So yeah, bringing God deeper into the universe.
nope, the light has won, and we're seeing it more and more every day.
Hmm.
Great. Did anybody else before we, Julia?
Yeah, so I've got two things that have come forward in the last week. The first one is my Arcturian aspect Telenaya has come in, and my violet flame connection as a flame keeper on the planet has upgraded to a cosmic violet flame, which has a center of like a blue starlight from Arcturus in the center. So it's become a flame of truth, justice, and healing rather than just transformation and transmutation. So the violet flame reservoirs on the planet are going to be updating, basically. The other thing is I've been working with channeling automatic writing the Sasquatch forest people, which is something David Purcell and I have been working on for the last month. And the main message coming from my personal guide from the forest people is that they can see that changes are happening slowly as we reconnect to nature, but we really need to minimize our use of the screens. Yeah, that's one of their main messages. And they are taking a lot of notice, kind of making themselves more visible, making themselves more prominent, and coming forward to help certain people with their psionics more. Yeah. They've noted that family bonds are strong, but they've been corrupted. So our family bonds will be redefining themselves, basically, to bonds that are much more safe for us. And the Sasquatch see us doing that, and they're going to help us with that. And yeah, they're just coming forward more. Sound healing is very important from their perspective. So they're taking note of the changes in harmonics on the planet. So yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. And it's really makes a lot of sense that the forest people, like what they would kind of want to criticize us on or school us on, rather, help us upgrade on, is our family game, because they understand the family unit. They're so spiritually evolved that, of course, what would they address us to is we're on our TVs too much and not with each other as family
Exactly.
unit.
Yeah,
And
so it's like a family that are coming forward, because when it was Full Disclosure Now conference and we had the forest people doing that opening ceremony, I was actually visited by a teenager, a female teenage Sasquatch. Yeah, because they could feel my energies there and they wondered, she got curious, why am I so connected?
they track you back over
Yeah,
and
they
said
tracked
pop in.
me, came into my room. Yeah. So since
What'd you
then,
say?
I just felt the presence there, and I kind of noticed that a juvenile female, and then Hajamal, who is the guide for David Purcell, confirmed that yes, she got curious and she tracked me down, basically. So it's like I've got a family between me and David. There's a family of guides coming forward to support us at this time. So yeah, hopefully I'll get more information coming through.
Mm-hmm. That's really interesting because a 17-year-old Sasquatch is like super duper young. That's like for Sasquatch time, that's like almost like crawled out of the womb, basically. Yeah. And so for her to be there is also, I'm sure, huge learning for her to share with her fellow adolescent, especially Sasquatch. The elders don't have time for
I
that,
think it's
probably.
because my energy is very childlike, so that's probably why they were drawn to me. Yeah, with the younger ones.
They may have a lot of fairy or pixie type background too. Yeah. And then, yeah, because in our human society, it used to be tribes and villages and families, and you had that link of the grandparents to the parents to the children, and that unbroken chain. And then when they converted us to the nuclear family model of mom, dad, children, and pet, what happened to grandparents? Now you don't have grandparents to babysit the children, and then the grandchildren aren't going to grow up and help the grandma and grandpas. Are all frail. You stuck them in an old folks home, and all of that model is obviously has to shift. And it's going to be a much more probably communal model where yeah. Awesome. Well then I wasn't sure if Soma wanted to step in, or otherwise it looks like we've had messages from both Renturis, um, Denis's higher self, and the messages that came through automatic writing with Julia from the Forest People or Sasquatch. So I guess we've been, going for probably an hour or so. If we end it now, that's okay too. We've had a lot of amazing wisdom and sharing come through, and the messages are all very positive. Um, you know, all the messages I'm getting, not just here, but everywhere, it's the light has won. I'm seeing it in the abundance, some of which we've discussed a bit about. And so just want to wish everybody blessings, and I'll be signing off here. And everyone who watches and listens to this recording later on, thank you so much for joining us as well. And you're all part of the full disclosure
Up now. Is there anything you want to say?
Sorry, Johnny?
Brian is just closing the meeting now.
Okay. Well,
And no pressure, no pressure. So
no pressure. I just want to thank you. Sorry, let me just turn this camera so. Thank you all for joining us, and thank you to everyone who was here tonight, and especially the people that hosted it, Brian and Christy for channeling, and Dennis as well, and Sheila, and Julia, and ARah. I'm sorry, I always pronounce that incorrectly.
Thank you so much.
And I highly recommend that everyone goes and checks out Brian TSENG. What is the website again? fulldisclosurenow.org?
There's a fulldisclosure.live and fulldisclosure.network. And then there's also fulldisclosuremovement.org, which is like a mirror site. And then we're going to be adding a whole bunch of full disclosure network, networks and stuff. We're going to be adding to it as we go. After I complete my move to Sedona, Arizona, to get the Starseed Education, Activation, and Research Center for Humanity, Sedona, Arizona.
Fantastic.
It'll be the first search center out there.
That is amazing. It's so needed on Earth. So needed on Earth. I see it as a resource center, a go-to.
Oh, it's going to be a go-to. We have a whole, the research, education, advanced medicine. We'd like to add eventually birth doulaing, where we can do live water births for women, and not have you, give birth and get your child automatically, have them cut the umbilical cord, take away the placenta, stick them with aluminum filled vitamin K, the works. I've seen it. It's terrible. And death doulaing, for as members of the community get older and run into failing health and they're going to die, they don't need to die alone. We can have a death doula service. We're going to have obviously hosting conferences for people around the world. We'd like to work with people out there. To basically bring together all the elders of the tribes, the native tribes of the world, to gather them there. And that would be actually probably fulfillment of a prophecy as well. And we'd like to facilitate that, things like that at that level. And then we've also projects coming up to perhaps facilitate research in Egypt to excavate what's under possibly.
Yeah, I need to talk to you about that. I need to do some channeling for areas, and also for two other guys. I won't mention their names, but you'll know their initials: TG
Yep. That's
and
yep.
SB.
Okay. I know more
SB.
TG. D or B?
S for sugar, B for Betty.
Betty, yes. And I know both of them. I forget who.
Yeah, they were at the conference.
All right, cool. Well, as okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that one. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I know both of them very well, and then we will follow up with that offline and get to report back our progress in future episodes here. Excellent.
Okay.
All right, well,
Lots of love to you.
Sweet.
lots of love, everybody. Signing off,
Okay.
and we'll talk later.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye for now, everyone.
Bye bye.